Good morning students. Today we are going to start chapter number 4 of Civics Unit 3 Gender, and the chapter's name is Growing Up as Boys and Girls. Dear students, in this chapter we will try to understand the differences on the basis of gender and sex in the society with women and girls. What people think about women and girls, what are the predictions of the people towards boys and girls. With the help of these commodities, the images of these commodities, you can easily imagine that which commodities are for girls, which are for boys. For example, this is doll for girls, for boys, right? In the same way, this is for girls, this is for boys, maybe for girls, like this. So this is the prediction of the society towards girls and women. So let's start the chapter. Being a boy or girl is an important part of one's identity. You know that our identity, he is a boy, she is a girl, like this. Sunita is a girl, Rahul is a boy. In this way, this is our identity. It means gender. The society we grow up in teaches us what kind of behavior is acceptable for girls and boys. Boys should do like this, girls should not do like this. What boys and girls can or cannot do. We often grow up thinking that these things are exactly the same everywhere, right? But do all societies look at boys and girls in the same way? No, I think no. All the societies are not having the same ideas regarding boys and girls. We will try and answer this question in this chapter. We will also look at how the different roles assigned to boys and girls prepare them for their future roles as men and women. We will learn that most societies value men and women differently. The roles women play and the work they do are usually valued less than the roles men play and the work they do. You easily can identify the role of women and men in the society and from your home, because India is a patriarchal society, and in this country most of the families are headed by male members, senior male members of the family. So this chapter will also examine how inequalities between men and women emerge in the area of work. Clear? So growing up in Samoa in 1920s. 1920s, this is the second decade of 20th century. Samoan Islands are part of large group of small islands in the southern part of Pacific Ocean. In 1920s, according to research reports on Samoan society, there was a research on Samoan society where children were found not to go to school. It means they did not go to school, children, and they learned many things such as how to take care of children or do household work from older children and from adults. So this is the role given by the society to children. Fishing was very important activity on the islands. You have to remember, in Samoan Islands, fishing is a very important activity, and at that time in the second and third decade of 20th century, young people means children, therefore learned to undertake long fishing expeditions. But they learned these things at different points in their childhood. Where? What are these points and what were these points at that time? As soon as babies could walk, right? Small baby could walk, their mothers or other adults no longer looked after them. It means after walking ability emerged or developed in babies, they were left freely. Older children, often as young as 5 years old, took over this responsibility. Means children used to take care of children. Both boys and girls looked after their younger siblings, means their brothers and sisters. But by the time a boy was about 9 years old, he joined the older boys in learning outdoor jobs like fishing and planting coconuts. Girls had to continue looking after small children or do errands for adults. Errands for adults means they used to collect something, they used to deliver something, the commodities to adults till they were teenagers. So here the role of boys and girls are different. But once they became teenagers, they had much more freedom, and after the age of 14 or so, girls also went on fishing trips, worked in the plantations, learned how to weave baskets. Cooking was done in special cooking houses where boys were supposed to do most of the work while girls helped with the preparations. It means here in this part of this paragraph we came to know that now the girls and boys were similarly doing the same works, understand, under this society. But now we take one more example of growing up male in Madhya Pradesh in 1960s. This is about 1960s here. The following is adapted from an account of experiences of being in small town in Madhya Pradesh in the 1960s, means 6th or 7th decade of 20th century. It means approximately 30 or 40 years later than the example of Samwan Islands. From class 6 onwards, boys and girls went to separate schools. The girls' school was designed very differently from the boys' school. They had a central courtyard where they played in total seclusion. Seclusion means separation or isolation, where they were far away from other people and safety from the outside world. It means in the 1960s, in a school of Madhya Pradesh, the girls were considered not too safe from the society, so they were kept in such kind of environment in the school, in the under the means surveillance of the teachers, and in the school campus and in courtyards they used to play. The boys school had no such courtyard, and our playground was just a big space attached to the school. Every evening once school was over, the boys watched as hundreds of schoolgirls crowded the narrow streets. You can imagine that what kind of situation was there when the boys watched as hundreds of schoolgirls crowded the narrow streets. As these girls walked on the streets, they looked so purposeful. This was unlike the boys who used the streets as a place to stand around idling, to play, to try out tricks with their bicycles. For the girls, the street was simply a place to get straight home. The girls always went in groups, perhaps because they also carried fears of being teased or attacked. So in this way, in this paragraph, we came to know that what kind of discrimination with girls and how they were not feeling safe, right? While they used to go to school or why they used to come back to their home, understand, from the boys and from other people. So this is the discrimination with girls in the society. Different predictions we came to know about that. So after reading these two examples above, we realize that there are many different ways of growing up, and often we think that there is only one way in which children grow up. This is because we are most familiar with our own experiences. If we talk to elders in our family, we will see that their childhoods were probably very different from ours. For example, if you ask your father or your grandfather, so their childhood was different from your childhood, understand, their the society at that time was different from this kind of society in which you are growing up. So dear students, in this way, with these two examples, we came to know about the different predictions of the society, and the girls and boys are in different situations and in different kinds of environment. So the rest of the topics of this chapter we will study in the next video. Thank you. Have a nice day.